welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and spring finally is here, and so I took the opportunity to wear the new Yema Urban Classic. And I presented you this watch a couple of weeks ago in Watch of the Week as a brief appetizer, and now the review piece is here and I could check it out, and I can tell you the difference between product images and the real watch is huge, a continent really. Yes, this happens from time to time, and it's not only or always bad. Sometimes we see rather boring images, and then the watch arrives and you see, wow, it's pretty interesting to be honest. And sometimes, of course, the opposite. Then you see some renderings and they look spectacular, and the real watch looks rather dull. And here is a bit in the middle. You don't have that even look from the images. You have something way more complicated. I'm speaking about the bright blue dial now. The watch here in real life has way more character than these product images. This is for sure, but it's hard to combine because the color is changing, and so I have the feeling that this watch can be pretty divisive. And so I'm very curious, what do you guys think about that particular color? But I ordered also the black dial so that you can compare a relatively simple color with this complex piece here. Alright, and here we are with our two watches with the Urban Classic with two dial colors. Here you have the blue and the black dial, very different in their appearance, right? But let's start here with the basic specifications now. We have here a case diameter of 37.5 millimeters, a length lug to lug here 45. Height is 13 millimeters, and this is my first minus. The watch is a smidgen too high. And the guilty is the crystal, by the way. The case measures 9 millimeters. And the lug width here is 20. Then we have a Hazelite crystal, more of that later, very interesting in this case. The watch is watertight up to 100 meters, and movement is the in-house caliber Yema 2000. So this is an automatic movement. And that's basically it with the specs, because we have pretty much a straightforward watch, right? Three-hand watch without lumen and very classic, and therefore the name Urban Classic. So let's begin, if you don't mind, with the black, with the blue. I think I'd like to start with the blue because it's absolutely my favorite piece here. And so at first glance, I said this in Watch of the Week before, we have a very pure design that is known as watch, right? The watch. This comes from a time when people really wanted that classic, iconic look, and so you find this design from many brands. And also a classic feature is, of course, this sunburst effect, which is pretty strong, pretty well applied here. See that? How it changes the entire appearance of the watch. Really interesting, really nice. And on the dial you have only a little distraction by some words. In fact, we have only the Yema logo, Automatique, and France for made in France, and that's it basically. And what I find very interesting here is the dial color, because I had a hard time during the Watch of the Week research to decide if this is a rich, nice, bright blue, or what is it? Or is it really faded? Is it some sort of cloudy color? Is it convincing in real life? These were my questions, and I must say I've never seen such a blue before. Sometimes it looks silverish, really a bit like the absence of color, or just a reflection from blue skylight. So very odd, very bright, but I must say, together with the Hazelite, it looks awesome. I mean, you have a lot of reflections going on because we have a massive light source here in this studio, but I will take the watch outside and then you can see it under bright daylight. But I think here you really see the strength of plexi crystals. See that? Looks pretty neat and classy, and often I ask myself, Tim, is it really that difference between a plexi and a modern sapphire crystal? But when I see something like that, I must add, yes, there's really a difference. You see it. You really see that very typical crisp look here. But of course this dial also has a downside. The legibility is not always great. Not under every angle. The legibility is there because the contrast between the metal hands and the dial is rather low, I would say, and so a bit reduced of legibility, but as said, we will check it out under bright daylight as well. The form of the hands is very typical, very classy. So the entire ensemble fits. It fits the style of the watch and it looks organic. And when you really zoom in, then you will see something interesting. Look at the numerals, please. With affordable watches, often you see these type of numerals just stamped out of a metal plate, sometimes with sharp edges, because it's another step to round these numerals to make a nice appearance, to polish it to a certain level. You see this definitely on high-end pieces, that every little numeral is perfect in its curvatures and its contours, and everything is really smooth, nice transitions in sharp contrast as set to cheap stamped out numerals. And this here is a bit in the middle. You have definitely some work on the numerals, which is nice because at the end this is a relatively affordable watch with a price tag of 690 euros or 690 US dollars without VAT, of course. And so we're not in the upper tier, but these numerals and also the indices and the overall polishing job on the dial looks neat, looks really, really good for that price tag. And before we discuss the case and strap, let's go to the black dial now. Of course, different look, completely different look, although all the specs are the same. You also have the transparency of the crystal, the plexiglass crystal, and so very nice. I must say this is by far my favorite here because there is just a richer look, more to explore. But black watches, black watch dials have their fans, absolutely. And so when you say, I fancy that watch, yeah, good for you. We're different in our tastes, and so it's really nice that we have these two colors to choose from. But now let's go over the case itself. You have a mixture of brushed surfaces and high polished facets there. Lug form, very distinctive here, so they didn't copy anything as far as I see. This really looks a bit like an over-polished vintage watch with this thin lugs, but of course it's crisp. It's really crisp with this facet here, high polished, sides are brushed. Not boxy, because I think we had some of these watches, reissues of dress watches from that classic era, and then the cases sometimes were a little bit boxy, but this is really, really okay, I think. And here you have the case back with a Yema motto, all steel, 10 bar water resistance, and so all nice package. The strap looks a bit artificial, to be honest. Looks like some sort of varnish. Doesn't sound like real leather. Doesn't look like real leather. I think is real leather, but with some plating, some film on top. I don't know what this is, but I can imagine that this doesn't age so well, but this is speculation. I've never used such a strap over a long time. And the black comes here with a black strap and this with a brown strap, which is of course nice. I mean, imagine this with a matching blue strap would look terrible. So this is a really good decision to match such a dial color, or to pair such a dial color with a contrast tone. And this thing is a strap monster. You can imagine it with another strap in this brown tone, but without that texture. Looks classy as hell. Or with the Caseback number 2, here with that cognac tone, also very nice complementary tone, and so really, really good combo. And I also could imagine that watch here with a mesh bracelet. Okay, but now let's check out the functionalities. Pretty straightforward, as you can imagine, because we have a three-hand watch without any form of date. So the movement provides hand winding. Feels good, feels okay, nothing special. Position 1 also feels good. And there you go. And this feels very nice. I must say, this feels very, very nice. Very okay. Nothing distracts me here. Very, very good. It's hackable, that movement, as you can see there. Second hand has stopped. And so all good. Performance is also okay. Accuracy, I should say. And so, yeah, very, very nice package. And now let's put it on the wrist. 37.5 millimeter watch on a 17 centimeter wrist. Let's zoom out a bit more. There you go. And I must say it's a good looking strap with that clasp. I'm not a fan of the contrast stitching, but the strap looks okay. But again, the feel, the sound is a bit weird, but the watch and the size is great, I must say. We are a bit away from that classy 36 millimeters. We're a bit more dominant, but it looks really organic, really okay. Okay, welcome back. And as I said, I'm curious about your opinion. What do you think, especially about that blue dial? Would you like something like that basically changes its appearance in every second, or do you hate it, or are you a bit indifferent? Let me know in the comments, please. All right, and that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.